got to the point where he like duplicated himself into somebody else. So I just saw him, just spinning on wheels. He was always working and then hiring new people off the streets and never really got it going. And meanwhile, my mom is, taking care of 5 kids on her own, and we're all 2 years apart. So imagine, right, Peter and Tia, no? Newborn, 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 6-year-old, and 8-year-old, all at the same time. And as you see on the numbers, in 2023, I did a lot of personal recruiting. I did 74 personal, 123 base shops. So, nothing crazy. But in 2024, I actually did less personal, but my base shop recruits went up. How did that happen? I led from the front in personal recruiting. And if you do it for long enough, people are going to see it, they're going to follow it, and they're going to end up doing it themselves. And that's exactly what happened, but you have to do it first. You're not just going to recruit one person a month and then someone's going to come in and do 30. Like, that's not going to happen. You have to do it yourself first. And the other reason why I have so many personal recruits is because I moved here in 2023. In April, I think, April or May. So I didn't know nobody. I didn't know anybody. The only person I knew was Samir and Josh. And obviously the people in the hierarchy. So I had to do a lot of personal recruiting. And obviously going deep I think is more important, but you have to go wide in order to get deep, right? You can't have 100 grandchildren from 2 children. It's not going to happen. So the thing about spreading wide is if you can get a bunch of people wide, it automatically turns into depth over time. Because if I get 10 directs and then I can get 2 of them to get 10, it's just going to, turn into layers over time. And we ultimately want depth. Like I heard somebody in the audio, I think it was Hector Lamarck, he said width is profitable, but depth is security. And that's ultimately what we want. And another reason why width is so important, I heard Hector Lamarck say this, is that's when you start getting like actual competition. Like if I get 10 directs, 2 or 3 of them, they're gonna be like, oh, Ali's like, dang, Abby brought more people than me this Saturday. Next time I gotta beat her. Or dang, she's beating me in my bonus, in my field training bonus. She has more premium. She's getting me more recruits than me. So they start competing, and then obviously that compounds. And there's like spurts of getting width. Like it wasn't like I was like getting a ton of directs every single month. Like I get 10 in a month and work with those 10. And then, once it kind of fizzled out, I get 10 more, and that's kind of how I did it. Another thing is the main thing is you gotta get people to adopt your philosophy of recruiting, and I think that's the hardest thing. That was hard for me in the beginning. That's why I was getting so many personal. Like in 2022, it was my first year. It was like 90% of my base shop recruits were personal because I couldn't get anybody else to recruit. But then I started talking about it from day one. Orientation, like that's all we talk about. Like when I'm messaging somebody on Instagram, right? That's like my main form of prospecting now. I'm not talking about, hey, dude, you can make some sales. Like I'm like, hey, you can build your own firm, right? Like I have people here that are seeing it for their first time. Like a couple people here, and I didn't tell them they could do sales. I told them, hey, if you sell out to licensing, you can have 100 licensed agents and make $100,000 a year without working, And that's what I'm mainly talking about with people. So that's what they're interested in. But yeah, 2025, I think same thing. My goal is to get at least 60 directs. I want to get 60 directs. That's what, there's a book called Super Hierarchy. I think Bill Render co-wrote it. I think, right, sir? Bill Render co-wrote Super Hierarchy, and just talk about getting 60 directs. So that's what I'm focused on. I don't know how much time I have, but I think I'm out. So I will leave it with that. Thank you guys for letting me speak. I appreciate it.